The phone didn't ring. It vibrated once, a desperate buzz against the tiny palm of a 5-year-old girl wedged inside a bathroom cabinet. Outside the locked door, heavy knocks rattled wood. A woman's muffled cry, the crash of furniture hitting walls. Little Lily didn't check the numbers she typed with shaking fingers. She just knew Auntie Emma would come. She always came. The message was simple. "He's hurting Mum again. Please come." She hit send. She was wrong about who would receive it. 2,000 miles away, deep in supernatural territory where humans never ventured, a phone lit up on an obsidian throne. For 3 centuries, the Alpha King had dreamed of her. A faceless woman whose scent haunted his sleep, lavender and lightning storms. His wolf had been restless for decades, searching, hunting for something it couldn't name. The seers had warned him. "Your mate walks in the human world, my lord. You'll know her the moment fate allows." He'd waited, searched, nearly lost hope. Then 6 words appeared on his screen from an unknown number. The pull was instantaneous, a golden chain wrapping around his ribs, yanking him forward with the force of destiny itself. His wolf exploded to the surface, recognizing what his human mind was still processing. Mate found ours. Colt Thorne didn't question it. He didn't hesitate. 340 years of iron control shattered in one heartbeat. He typed 3 words that would break centuries of law. "I'm on my way." And the human world was about to meet the beast. The apartment reeked of cheap beer and old fear. Sage pressed her back against the bedroom door John had locked from the outside, her breath coming in short, panicked gasps. Through the thin wood, she could hear him packing, muttering, the clink of a bottle against the table. "Where's the money, Sage?" His voice was low, tense. "I know you got paid yesterday." "I gave it to you, John," her voice cracked. "All of it for your friends." The lie tasted like ash. She'd hidden $40 in Lily's toy box, grocery money. That was all. The door shuddered under his knocks. Once, twice. The cheap lock wouldn't hold. "You're lying to me." Another crash, objects toppled. "You think I'm stupid." In the bathroom, Lily had climbed into the cabinet beneath the sink, pulling the door almost closed. She clutched the phone her mother had given her. "Only for emergencies, baby. Only if Mama can't protect you." This was an emergency. Her small fingers trembled as she opened Mama's contacts. Found Auntie Emma. But when she tapped to message, her shaking hand slipped. The phone auto-suggested a recent number instead. Someone Mama had texted last week about a wrong delivery. Lily didn't notice. Through her tears, it just looked like Emma's name. "He's hurting Mum again. Please come." Send. The throne room of the North American pack fortress was carved from living stone, ancient and cold. Around the war table stood 6 alphas, arguing over territorial boundaries, their voices echoing off granite walls. Colt Thorne stood at the head, silent, massive, radiating the kind of authority that made ancient vampires bow and elder witches step aside. His aura alone could crush a lesser wolf's windpipe from across a room. He was only half listening. Border disputes. Rogue wolves. The same cyclical nonsense that had occupied him for decades. His beta, Kira, was mid-sentence when his phone vibrated. The room went silent. Nobody had this number. Only Kira, his head enforcer, and the supernatural council in emergencies. Colt lifted the obsidian phone. Unknown number. Area code 503, human territory. He opened it. "He's hurting Mum again. Please come." The world stopped. The mate bond slammed into him like a physical avalanche. That dream scent crystallizing into reality. The golden chain around his ribs pulling taut. His wolf roaring in recognition after 3 centuries of searching. Mate, ours, danger, protect, now. His eyes flared pure molten gold. The temperature in the room plummeted. Frost crept across the stone table. Every alpha dropped to one knee as his aura exploded outward, a tidal wave of dominance so crushing that 2 of them couldn't breathe. "My lord," Kira's voice was barely a whisper. Colt's thumbs moved with preternatural speed. "Who is this?" The response came seconds later. "Lily, John hurt Mama, she's hurt. Please help Auntie Emma." Colt didn't know a Lily. Didn't know a John, but his wolf knew the soul on the other end of that bond. Could feel her pain like silver burning through his chest. He stood. The throne behind him didn't just crack, it detonated, 3-ton slabs of enchanted obsidian exploding across the room like shrapnel. Alphas threw up shields. The fortress itself trembled. "Mobilize the Deathseekers." Colt's voice wasn't a command. It was a primal roar that made the stone walls bleed. "We cross into human territory, now." "My lord," the treaty. "The council will have your head for this," Kira began. Colt's hand shot out. Kira's throat was in his grip, lifted off the ground. Not hurting, but absolutely dominant. "The council," Colt said with deadly calm, "can send their executioners. I will punish anyone who tries to stop me. My mate is hurt. The treaty means nothing." He released her. Kira gasped, nodded. "To everyone. If the council has a problem with me saving my mate, tell them to come try. They're welcome." He typed one final message. "I'm on my way." Then to Kira. "Fastest route to area code 503. If anyone, human or supernatural, tries to stop me, they will regret it." The Deathseekers mobilized. The Alpha King was going to war. The bathroom cabinet smelled like cleaning chemicals and terror. Lily squeezed her eyes shut, phone pressed to her chest. He'd said he was coming. The man on the phone, he'd said. The bedroom door splintered. John's heavy footsteps. "Where are you, you little brat?" Lily heard her mother. "John, please, she's just a baby." A thud. The bathroom door handle rattled. Locked. But John had a key. He always had the keys. Click. The door swung open. Light flooded in. Lily pressed deeper into the cabinet. "Get out here." John's hand reached in, fingers closing around her wrist. And then the front door of the apartment didn't just open. It vaporized. The reinforced steel door, the deadbolt, the entire frame, all of it disintegrated into splinters and twisted metal, blown inward by a shockwave of pure supernatural force. The walls cracked. Windows shattered. The building itself seemed to recoil from what was entering. An aura hit first, invisible, suffocating, primal. Every human instinct in John's brain screamed, danger, run, escape. Then Colt Thorne stepped through the smoking doorway. 67 of pure lethal power. Silver-white hair plastered to his skull from the rain. Eyes burning molten gold, so bright they cast shadows. He was partially shifted, claws like black knives. Canines elongated, muscles rippling beneath tactical gear that looked painted on. But it was his presence that made John's legs nearly give out. The air itself bent around Colt. The light bulbs overhead flickered and burst. Shadows deepened. The temperature dropped so fast that breath misted in the air. This wasn't a man. This was a force of nature. Colt's eyes found John holding Lily's wrist. Then they found Sage, slumped against the bedroom door, face bruised, hurt at the corner of her mouth. The mate bond ignited. A visible flash of golden light pulsed between them, searing through the air. Sage gasped, clutching her chest. Colt's wolf roared in triumph and protective rage. "Mate hurt, stop." John stumbled backward, releasing Lily. What the? Colt moved. He was at the door, then he was standing over Sage. Teleportation fast, impossible. He knelt, and despite the barely leashed intensity radiating from every pore, his hand was impossibly gentle as it cupped her face. "You're safe now," he said, voice soft as velvet, commanding as a blade. "I'm Colt. I've been looking for you for 300 years. Sage stared up at him through swelling eyes. She saw gold, saw something ancient and not human, should be terrified. But the bond thrummed between them, warm, golden, right. "You're not real," she whispered. "I'm very real." His thumb brushed away a mark from her lip. "And you're mine." Behind them, John lunged for the kitchen, grabbing a knife. Colt didn't turn around. His hand shot backward, pure instinct, and caught John mid-lunge. He stood, steadying him, still supporting Sage with his other arm. He finally looked at John, and his face was absolute authority. "You put your hands," Colt whispered, voice dropping to a low rumble, on my mate. John stumbled back, knife clattering to the floor. Colt's aura expanded, crushing, suffocating. John's eyes went wide, panic surging. You hurt what belongs to me. There is no justice deep enough for that. Colt, Sage's voice weak. Don't hurt him, not in front of Lily. Colt's eyes softened instantly when they found hers. As you wish. He moved John away with effortless force. The man collapsed safely in the alley, unconscious. Colt turned back to Sage, knelt again. His eyes faded from gold to warm amber. But Sage was struggling in his arms now, fighting despite her injuries. Lily, where's I need? Mama, Lily ran from the bathroom. Sage tried to pull away from Colt, maternal instinct overriding everything. Let me go, I need to. Easy, Colt shifted his hold, letting her see Lily while still supporting her weight. Your daughter's safe, you're both safe now. Kira appeared in the doorway, tall, dangerous, but with kind eyes. She knelt to Lily's level. Hi, sweetheart, I'm Kira. We're going to take you somewhere safe, okay? Somewhere no one can ever hurt you or your mama again. Lily looked at her mother in the giant man's arms, looked at the woman, looked back at Colt. Are you a superhero? Lily whispered. Colt's lips curved into the faintest smile, the first anyone had seen in 50 years. Something better, little one. I'm your mother's protector, and now yours. Sage was still fighting weakly. I don't know you. You can't just. You feel it, Colt said quietly, his eyes locked on hers. The bond, you feel it pulling us together. Sage's breath hitched, because she did. That impossible warmth in her chest, that sense of rightness that made no sense. What are you? She breathed. Yours. He stood, lifting her with impossible gentleness, one arm beneath her knees, the other supporting her back. We can talk when you're healed. Right now, you need a doctor, and I need to get you somewhere John's actions will never harm you again. As he carried Sage toward the door, he paused. In the alley below, John was groaning, trying to crawl, injured but alive. Kira, Colt said, his voice flat and absolute. Ensure he can't hurt anyone again, then deliver him to authorities with the full truth. Supernatural compulsion if needed. Yes, my lord. And Kira, if he even thinks my mate's name again, he will face consequences. Understood. Colt looked down at Sage, who was staring at him with wide eyes, fear, confusion, but also something else. Wonder. You broke laws to come here, she whispered. Why? Colt's expression softened. The terrifying apex predator became something almost tender. Because I've waited 340 years to find you, he murmured. And now that I have you, I would burn this world to ash before I let anything hurt you again. The helicopter blades whirred to life on the rooftop. Kira scooped up Lily, who clung to her hand. And the Alpha King carried his mate home. Sage woke to pain. Not the sharp, familiar agony of John's fists. This was different, a deep, burning ache in her bones, like her body was being rewritten from the inside out. She gasped, eyes flying open. Stone ceiling. Massive wooden beams carved with symbols that seemed to pulse with faint light. Floor-to-ceiling windows showing endless forest stretching toward mountains she didn't recognize. The bed beneath her felt like sleeping on clouds, silk sheets with a thread count higher than her yearly salary. Where? Lily, the name tore from her throat as memory crashed back. The apartment, John's hands on her daughter, the man with glowing eyes who'd. The door opened. A woman entered, tall, warrior's build, dark hair in a severe braid, moving with predatory grace. But her eyes were kind. Your daughter is safe, she said immediately, hands raised. She's 3 doors down, sleeping, guarded. I can take you to her the moment you're ready. Sage tried to sit up. Her body screamed in protest, ribs grinding, face throbbing. She looked down at her arms, expecting the familiar landscape of bruises. They were there, purple-black, but even as she watched, they were fatting, turning yellow-green, shrinking. What's happening to me? The woman sat carefully in a chair across the room. My name is Kira. I'm Beta of the North American Pack. You're healing faster than a human should because you're in proximity to your mate. The bond accelerates recovery. My what? The man who saved you last night, Colt Thorne, alpha king of all North American werewolf packs. Kira's voice was matter-of-fact, like she was discussing the weather. You're his fated mate. The bond triggered when he read your daughter's text. Sage stared at her. The words made no sense. Werewolves, mate, bond. I need to see Lily, now. Of course, Kira stood. But Sage, when you see her, don't panic. She's safe, happy, even. Children adapt faster than adults to our world. Lily was curled in a bed 3 times her size, surrounded by pillows like a nest. Her small face was peaceful in sleep. No tear tracks, no fear sweat, no nightmares twisting her features. Sage sank to her knees beside the bed, hands shaking as she brushed hair from her daughter's face. She's okay. She's safe. Mama, Lily's eyes fluttered open, then went wide. Mama, your face. Sage touched her cheek instinctively. The swelling was nearly gone. The split lip closed. I'm okay, baby. How are you? Did they hurt you? No, Lily sat up, and to Sage's shock, she was smiling. Everyone's really nice, Mama. Kira gave me hot chocolate with marshmallows. And there's a big room with toys and books, and Mr. Wolf said we can stay as long as we want and the bad man can't find us here. Mr. Wolf, Sage's blood went cold. Kira spoke from the doorway. She means Colt. He checked on her before dawn, sat with her in wolf form until she fell back asleep. A pause. She wasn't afraid of him. Sage looked at her daughter, her traumatized, terrified daughter who flinched at raised voices and hid in cabinets. The same daughter who was now chattering about hot chocolate and safety. He promised me, Mama, Lily said seriously, her small hand gripping Sage's. He promised the bad man would never hurt us again, and I believe him. Something in Sage's chest cracked. Kira led her through the fortress as Lily slept again, exhaustion claiming her small body. The place was massive, ancient stone corridors lit by iron sconces. Tapestries depicting battles between wolves and things Sage didn't want to examine too closely. And everywhere power. It hummed in the walls, thrummed in the air. Where is he? Sage asked. Colt. Dealing with the consequences of saving you. Kira's voice was carefully neutral. The Supernatural Council isn't happy he violated the treaty. There are politics. He said he didn't care about treaties. He doesn't, not when it comes to you. Kira stopped walking, turned to face her. You need to understand what he risked, Sage. Centuries of law, political alliances, his own life. The council could demand his execution for entering human territory without authorization. Sage's stomach dropped. They'd kill him for saving us. They'd try, Kira smiled grimly. They wouldn't succeed, but yes, what he did for you could start a war. The hallway suddenly felt too small. I didn't ask for this. I didn't ask for any of this. Your daughter did when she sent that text. Kira's expression softened, and Colt answered, that's what mates do. Stop calling it that. I'm not anyone's mate. I just escaped a man who thought he owned me. Colt doesn't want to own you. Kira's voice cut through the rising panic. He wants to protect you. There's a difference. Is there? Before Kira could answer, a door at the end of the hall opened, and Colt emerged. He looked different in daylight. Still massive, still powerful, but more human. Dark jeans, simple black shirt that did nothing to hide the muscle beneath. His silver-white hair was tied back, but his eyes, those amber gold eyes, locked onto Sage with an intensity that stole her breath. The pull hit her like a physical force. Her body moved toward him before her brain could override it. 1 step, 2, before she stopped herself. No, not again. Never again. Colt went very still. Sage, her name in his voice was reverent, pained. You should be resting. I want answers. Then ask. He dismissed Kira with a glance. The beta left without a word. They were alone in the hallway. Sage forced herself to meet his gaze. Why me? I'm nobody. A waitress. A single mother with a GED and $40 in savings. Why would a king risk everything for someone like me? Colt's jaw tightened. For a moment, his eyes flashed gold, pure wolf looking out through human features. "Because you're mine." The word came out rough, possessive, barely controlled. "My wolf knew you the second I read that text. 340 years I've waited, searched, nearly gave up hope." He took a step closer. Sage's heart hammered. "And then fate dropped you in my lap, bleeding, terrified, perfect." "I'm not perfect, I'm broken." "You survived." Another step. The air between them felt electric. "You protected your daughter for years against a man twice your size. You're not broken, Sage, you're forged." Sage's back hit the wall. She hadn't even realized she was retreating. Colt stopped just out of reach, close enough that she could feel the heat radiating from his body, smell pine and winter storm. "I can't do this," she whispered. "I can't belong to someone again." "You don't belong to me." His voice dropped to something raw, almost desperate. "The bond doesn't work like that. You're not my possession, you're my equal, my partner, my—" He stopped, fists clenching, fighting for control. "My everything." Sage's hands were shaking, from fear or something else entirely. "What do you want from me?" "I want to keep you safe, teach you what you are." He stopped at her sharp inhale. "You've felt it, haven't you? The difference. Things you could do that others couldn't." Sage thought of the times lights flickered when she was angry. The way animals always found her. The dreams where she ran through forests on 4 legs. "What am I?" "I don't know yet, but you're not fully human. The bond triggered something dormant." His hand lifted slowly, giving her time to refuse, and cupped her jaw. His palm was warm, calloused, gentle. "Let me help you figure it out." Sage's body was betraying her, leaning into his touch, craving more. The bond, if that's what this was, hummed between them like a living thing. "And if I say no?" Pain flashed in his eyes, real, visceral pain. "Then I find you somewhere safe, somewhere John and his allies can't reach, and I let you go." "You do that, just let me leave." "I've waited centuries for you, Sage. I can wait longer if that's what you need." His thumb brushed her cheekbone, the spot where John's fist had split the skin 12 hours ago. "But I'm asking you to stay. Let me protect you. Let me prove I'm nothing like him." His hand dropped. The loss of contact felt like cold water. "Stay, learn, and then decide." Sage stared at him, at this impossible creature offering impossible things. Safety, protection, choice. "How long?" A howl split the air, primal, warning. Colt's entire body changed, spine straightening, muscles coiling, eyes blazing pure molten gold. The temperature dropped. The lights flickered. "Get to Lily's room." His voice was barely human. "Lock the door. Don't open it for anyone but Kira." "What's happening?" "The council sent enforcers." His lips pulled back, revealing elongated canines. "They're here to kill me for breaking the treaty." Another howl, closer. Then the sound of stone shattering somewhere below. Colt looked at her one last time, and for a moment she saw past the power to the man beneath. Desperate, determined. "I will come back for you, I swear it." Then he shifted. His body exploded outward, bones cracking, reshaping, fur erupting. In seconds, a massive silver-white wolf stood where the man had been, easily the size of a car, eyes still burning gold. He turned and launched himself through the window. Glass exploded. The wolf disappeared into the chaos below, toward the sounds of battle, snarling, death. And Sage ran. Sage sprinted through the stone corridors, bare feet slapping cold floors. The fortress shook. Screams echoed from below, animal, primal, dying. She burst into the nursery wing. Lily stood frozen with 4 other children. The guards were gone. Only Kira remained, herding kids toward a steel door. "Mama," Lily's voice was small. Sage scooped her up. "I've got you, baby." "Sage, get her to the safe room." Kira's voice cut off. The window exploded inward. A massive brown wolf crashed through, foam at its muzzle, eyes rolling white. Rabid, feral. It locked onto the children. Easy prey. It lunged. Sage's hand shot out. "Stop." Golden light erupted from her palm. The wolf froze midair, suspended, legs still running, jaws snapping at nothing. But she could feel it fighting her. Her hand trembled. Sweat broke out on her forehead. I can't hold this. Her control slipped. The wolf crashed to the floor, scrambled backward, and bolted through the window. Sage's legs gave out. Kira caught her. What did I just do? The door exploded open. Colt stood there in wolf form, silver white, blood on his muzzle. He shifted in seconds. Naked, covered in blood, eyes still gold. Everyone out, safe room now, he crossed to Sage. Are you hurt? No, but what did I do? He examined her palm. You froze a rabid werewolf mid-attack. His voice was quiet, odd. We need to find out why. The library was 3 stories of ancient books carved into bedrock. Candles floated in the air. Dr. Brennan waited, tall, silver-haired, sharp green eyes, a werebear. Show me your hand. Sage held it out. He inhaled sharply. Impossible. I thought the bloodline was extinct. What bloodline? Colt demanded. Brennan pulled out an old scroll, a family tree, names crossed out in red ink. The Seraphina line, Unifiers, they died in the purges of 1764. His finger traced to the bottom, one name not crossed out. Seraphina Winters disappeared 1764. Status, unknown. She went into hiding, had children in secret. He looked at Sage. Until you. What's a unifier? A bloodline that can command all shifter kinds. Wolves, bears, cats, everything. They were peacekeepers during the War of Species in the 1600s. Could end battles with a word. Force submission without violence. Why were they killed? Power-hungry alphas saw them as threats, creatures who could strip them of their authority with a single command. So they formed an alliance and hunted them to extinction. 3 years of purges. Entire families burned alive. Children killed in their cradles. Brennan's hands shook as he closed the scroll. We thought Seraphina was the last. Sage felt like she was drowning. My grandmother told me I was special, that I had to hide what I could do, the way animals followed me, the dreams where I ran on 4 legs. She made me promise never to show anyone. Her voice cracked. She died when I was 8. After that, foster care. I learned to bury it, pretend I was normal. She was protecting you, Colt said quietly. If anyone knew what you were, they'd kill me, or worse. Worse, Brennan agreed grimly. Your blood, your power in the wrong hands, it could be weaponized. Mind control, compelled loyalty, an army of shifters who couldn't disobey. Kira spoke from the doorway. That's why someone's been watching her. Colt's eyes flashed gold. Someone knows what she is. The dungeons were cold, damp, soundproof. John was chained to a chair, beaten and bloody but alive. Colt stood in the shadows, utterly still, radiating menace. Please, John wheezed. I don't know anything. You put your hands on my mate. Colt's voice was soft, conversational, terrifying. That's a death sentence, but I'm curious. How does a mechanic afford to track a woman across state lines? I didn't. Colt moved. 1 second he was across the room. The next, his hand was wrapped around John's throat, not squeezing, just holding. A promise written in pressure points and pulse. The truth, or I start removing fingers. They paid me, $50,000, said they'd forgive my debts if I monitored her, reported anything weird. Who? Marcus something, met him at a bar, he knew everything about her, said she was special, worth money. Colt's grip tightened fractionally, John's face went purple. What people? He didn't say, just told me to text updates. If lights flickered, animals acted weird, anything unusual. Show me. John fumbled for his phone with shaking hands, pulled up the messages. Colt took it, scrolling through. The contact was saved as M, dozens of messages over 9 months. Updates, photos, reports. One from yesterday. She made the lights flicker when angry. You were right, she's one of them. Colt's eyes blazed pure gold. Marcus Thane. Alpha of the Eastern Territories, Kira said from the doorway, her voice tight. He's been hunting Unifier descendants for decades, has a private collection, texts, bloodlines. He collects them, Colt said, disgust dripping from every word. Like trophies. He looked at John with absolute contempt. You sold my mate to a man who would cage her, bleed her, use her power until there was nothing left. Do you understand what you've done? I didn't know, John was sobbing now. I swear. The door opened wider. Sage stood there. John's face went white. Sage, baby, listen, I'm sorry. Don't. The word cracked like a whip. Sage stepped into the cell, and despite the cold, despite the fear, her voice was steel. Don't call me that. Don't apologize. You beat me for 3 years. You locked me in rooms. You put your hands on my daughter. I was drunk. I was desperate. You sold information about me to a man who hunts my kind. Sage's hands were shaking, but not from fear, from rage. You let him write to me, to Lily. John stared at her, really looked at her for the first time. Saw something in her eyes he'd never seen before. Power? What are you? Sage raised her hand. The golden light flared, brighter than before, controlled now. John's body locked up instantly, frozen like the wolf had been, every muscle rigid. I'm the thing you should have feared, Sage said quietly, stepping closer until she was inches from his face. I'm the woman who survived you, and you just led monsters to my door. She held him there for 5 agonizing seconds, let him feel the helplessness, the terror, the absolute loss of control. Then she released him. John collapsed in the chair, gasping, tears streaming down his face. Sage turned to Colt. Her voice didn't shake. He's not worth killing. He's a coward and a pawn. She paused. But if he ever comes near my daughter again, if he even thinks her name, I'll do worse than freeze him. Colt's smile was pure pride, pure possession. As you wish, my queen. To Kira, lock him up, maximum security. He stays until we deal with Marcus. As they left the dungeon, Sage's composure finally cracked. Her hands shook. Her breath came short. Colt pulled her into his arms immediately. You were magnificent, he murmured against her hair, his body shielding hers from the world. You claimed your power, faced your abuser. I'm terrified, Sage whispered into his chest. Marcus is coming for me, and I don't know how to stop him. Colt tilted her face up, his eyes fierce. You don't have to stop him alone. I've killed alphas for lesser offenses than threatening my mate. His thumb brushed her cheek. Marcus Thane has been hunting Unifiers for 40 years. He has resources, alliances, a reputation for brutality that makes other alphas nervous. Then how do we? We make him come to us, on our ground, our terms. Colt's smile was sharp, lethal. And when he does, I'm going to teach him what happens to those who hunt what belongs to me. But even as Sage leaned into his warmth, into the safety of his arms, she felt it. The pull of something dark on the horizon. Marcus was coming. And the war for her blood had only just begun. Night had fallen over the fortress by the time Sage returned to Colt's private chambers. She'd insisted on putting Lily to bed herself, reading 3 stories, checking the locks twice, kissing her daughter's forehead, until the little girl finally drifted off with a stuffed wolf Kira had given her clutched to her chest. Now, standing in the massive sitting room that adjoined Colt's bedroom, Sage felt the exhaustion of the day crash over her. You should eat, Colt's voice came from behind her. She turned. He'd changed into simple black pants and a dark Henley. His silver-white hair was still damp from a shower. He looked almost human, if you ignored the predatory grace in every movement. I'm not hungry. Liar. He moved to the table where someone had laid out a meal, roasted chicken, vegetables, bread that smelled like heaven. You haven't eaten in 18 hours. Sit. It wasn't a command, but the alpha authority in his voice made her body want to obey anyway. Sage sat. Is it always like this, the pull? The mate bond. Colt poured her wine, red, expensive. It gets stronger, more insistent, until it's claimed fully. And if I don't claim it? His hand paused. Then we both suffer. You won't die. You'll just feel incomplete. Forever. Sage took the glass, their fingers brushing. The contact sent heat racing up her arm. That sounds like torture. It is. Colt sat across from her, not touching his own food, just watching her with those amber eyes. I lost my parents in the Great Pack Wars, 200 years ago. Rival alphas ambushed them during peace negotiations, slaughtered them. I was barely a century old. Sage's breath caught. I'm sorry. I learned that love makes you weak, vulnerable, so I built walls, ruled alone, never let anyone close. His eyes held hers. Until a terrified child sent a wrong number to my private line, and everything I'd believed shattered. Why me? Because you're my other half. The piece I didn't know was missing. Colt reached across the table, his hand covering hers. And I would burn the world down to keep you safe. The intensity in his voice should have terrified her. Instead, it made something deep in her chest ache with want. John said things like that, she said quietly. At first, before he started hitting me. Colt's hand tightened, not painfully, but with barely controlled rage. I am nothing like him. Prove it. He stood, moving around the table to kneel in front of her chair. This powerful king, on his knees, looking up at her with something like reverence. I will never raise my hand to you in anger, Colt said, his voice rough. Never lock you away, never make you small to feel big. I will protect you, worship you, kill for you, but I will never, ever hurt you. He lifted her hand to his lips, kissing the bruises that still lingered on her wrist. These marks on your skin are the last anyone will ever leave without dying for it. Sage's eyes burned with unshed tears. I don't know how to trust this, trust you. Then let me earn it, one day at a time. He stood, pulling her up with him, starting now. He led her to the balcony doors, opening them to the night air. Below, the fortress grounds stretched out under starlight, peaceful, beautiful, safe. Dance with me, Colt said softly. There's no music. There's always music. He pulled her close, one hand at her waist, the other holding hers. And then he hummed, low and melodic, an ancient tune that sounded like home. Sage let him lead her in a slow circle under the stars. His body was solid against hers, warm and protective. For the first time in years, she felt safe. I'm scared, she admitted against his chest. So am I, his lips brushed her hair. I've never had something to lose before. It terrifies me. She looked up at him. Kiss me. Colt went still. Sage. Please, I need to know. I need to feel something that isn't fear. He cupped her face with both hands, thumbs brushing her cheekbones. If I start, I may not be able to stop. Then don't stop. He kissed her like she was precious, like she was air and he was drowning. His lips moved against hers with barely restrained hunger, tasting, claiming. The mate bond flared between them, golden light poolsing, warmth flooding her veins. Sage gasped and he deepened the kiss, his tongue sliding against hers, one hand fisting in her hair, the other pulling her flush against him. She could feel the hard planes of his body, the tremor in his muscles as he fought for control. Her hands slid up his chest, around his neck, pulling him closer, wanting more, needing. A cry from the adjoining room shattered the moment. Mama. Sage pulled back, breathing hard. Lily's nightmare voice cut through the night. Go, Colt said roughly, his eyes still gold, his voice strained. I'll be here. The council chamber was cold stone, and angry voices. Elder Maddox stood at the center, his face carved from disapproval. 4 other regional alphas flanked him. You've broken sacred law crossing into human territory, Maddox said. Endangered us all for a human mate. She's not human, Colt said coldly. She's a unifier. Even worse, those creatures made alphas bow like common wolves. Our ancestors eliminated them for good reason. They kept peace for centuries. They were abominations. Maddox's eyes blazed. And you want to make one our queen? Marcus already knows what she is. He'll rally every power-hungry alpha from here to Mexico. That's not your decision to make. We vote, as is our right under pack law. Maddox raised his hand. All in favor of removing the Unifier from fortress territory. 2 hands rose. Opposed. 3 hands. She stays, Kira announced. Maddox's smile was thin, dangerous. For now, but mistakes have a way of correcting themselves, Alpha King. It happened at midnight. The perimeter alarms shattered the night, sirens wailing, emergency lights flooding the fortress in red. Sage jerked awake, Lily's small body curled against hers. The door burst open, Kira already in tactical gear. They're here, 3 packs, coordinated assault. Marcus, Darius, and Thane, they want you. An explosion rocked the fortress. Lily screamed. Colt appeared in the doorway, partially shifted, claws extended, eyes pure gold. Safe room, now. I can help. You can live. He gripped her shoulders. Take Lily to the safe room, lock it from the inside. Don't open it for anyone but me. Another explosion. Closer. The clash of bodies, snarls, screams. Go, Colt roared. Kira grabbed Sage's arm, pulling her toward a hidden panel in the wall. It slid open, revealing a narrow staircase. They ran down the stone steps, Lily in Sage's arms. Behind them, the sounds of battle, supernatural and savage. They were halfway down when the stairwell exploded. Stone and fire erupted from below. Kira threw herself in front of them, taking the blast. She hit the wall hard, sliding down unconscious. 3 wolves emerged from the smoke, massive, scarred, feral. Sage turned to run back up, but more wolves blocked the stairs above. Trapped. A hand grabbed Lily, ripping her from Sage's arms. No, Sage's power flared, golden light exploding outward. 2 wolves froze mid-lunge. But the third was ready. Silver chains whipped around Sage's wrists, Unifier binding metal that burned against her skin, cutting off her power instantly. She screamed, Lily screamed. And they were dragged into darkness. When Sage woke, she was in a corridor outside the safe room. Her head throbbed. Silver chains still burned her wrists. Lily stood 10 feet away, held by a massive alpha with scarred arms and cold eyes. Not hurting her. Not yet. Darius. Behind him, 2 wolves dragged Colt, silver chains around his neck and wrists bleeding from a dozen wounds. His clothes were shredded. His face was battered. But his eyes, still gold, still burning, locked onto Sage. He'd been fighting in the children's wing, protecting the nursery. That's why he was captured. He'd chosen them over himself. Here's the deal, Unifier, Darius said, his voice amused. For them, you come with me peacefully and I let the girl and the king live. You refuse and I start taking pieces. He tightened his grip on Lily's arm just enough to make her whimper. We'll see which one screams louder. You have 60 seconds. Sage looked at her daughter's terrified face. At Colt's broken form, his eyes begging her not to do this. At the choice between them and her. 50 seconds. Her hands were shaking, the silver burned, her power was gone. 40 seconds. Lily was crying. Mama, please. 30 seconds. Colt's voice barely a rasp. Don't, Sage, don't. 20 seconds. She thought of her grandmother, of hiding what she was, of running her whole life. 10 seconds. Not anymore. I'll go, Sage said. Let them go and I'll go with you. Darius smiled. Smart girl. He released Lily. The little girl ran to Sage, sobbing. I love you, baby, Sage whispered, kissing her head. Be brave, be strong. Then she stepped forward. Toward Darius. Toward captivity. Toward whatever hell waited a Unifier in enemy hands. Colt roared, a sound of pure anguish and rage that shook the fortress walls. But the silver chains held. And Sage walked into darkness. Sage stepped toward Darius, hands raised, eyes locked on Lily's terrified face. Let her go, Sage said, her voice steady despite the fear clawing at her throat. You wanted me, here I am. Darius smiled, all teeth, no warmth. Not so fast, Unifier. First, we negotiate terms. 2 more alphas emerged from the shadows. Marcus, lean and cruel-eyed, scars crossing his face like a roadmap of violence. Thane, massive, tattooed, radiating barely controlled rage. The terms are simple, Marcus said, circling her like prey. You come with us, peacefully. We take samples of your blood, study your power, create a serum that will give us what you have. Control over all shifters. That'll kill me, Sage said flatly. Eventually, Marcus shrugged. But the child lives, the king lives, they get to mourn you and move on. Your one life against the future of our kind, Thane growled. Should have stayed hidden. Colt groaned, struggling against the silver chains. Sage, run. Darius kicked him casually. Colt went silent, blood trickling from his mouth. Rage flooded Sage's veins. The golden light flickered beneath her skin. Ah, Marcus warned, pressing a silver blade against Lily's throat. Not breaking skin, just a promise. You use that power and I cut. The light died. Sage's hands trembled. What do you want? Come with us now. We have a facility 3 hours north. Darius released Lily, shoving her toward one of his wolves. The girl stays here. Insurance. No, Sage's voice was ice. Lily comes with Colt. You get me, they both go free. You're not in a position to. Yes, I am, because if you kill me here, you get nothing. My power dies with me, but if I cooperate, you get what you want. Sage took a step forward. The alphas tensed. Here's my deal. Lily and Colt released immediately. I go with you. You get your samples. Marcus and Thane exchanged glances. Darius laughed. Smart girl, fine. He nodded to his wolves. Get them out. Kira appeared, bloodied, limping, but alive. She gathered Lily, who was sobbing. Mama, no, don't leave me. Sage knelt, pulling her daughter close one last time. Her heart was shattering. Every instinct screamed to run, to fight, to protect her baby. But this was the only way to keep her alive. Baby, listen to me. You're so brave, so strong. Stay with Kira, stay with Mr. Wolf. Her voice cracked. I'll come back, I promise. You can't promise that, Lily sobbed. I can, because I'm your mama, and mamas always come back. She kissed Lily's forehead, memorizing her daughter's face, her smell, the feel of her small body. I love you, forever and always. Kira dragged Lily away, the little girl screaming, reaching for her mother. Sage stood, blinking back tears. She walked to Colt, kneeling beside his broken form. I'm sorry, she whispered, touching his bloody face. I'm so sorry. Colt's eyes opened barely, gold drowning in red. Don't do this. I have to, she's my everything. Sage leaned in, pressing her lips to his. Brief, gentle, goodbye. But you were going to be my everything too. She stood before he could respond. I'm ready. The facility was industrial, isolated, ringed with armed guards. They dragged Sage inside, down sterile hallways that smelled of antiseptic and fear. Welcome to your new home, Marcus said, shoving her into a lab. Medical equipment lined the walls, restraint tables, IV stands, machines Sage didn't recognize. A woman in a white coat turned, Dr. Valen, according to her name tag. Cold eyes behind wire-rimmed glasses. She smiled when she saw Sage, and it was the smile of someone who enjoyed her work far too much. The Unifier, Valen breathed, circling Sage like a specimen. Extraordinary. I've waited decades to study one of you. Strap her down. Wait, Sage pulled back. You said samples, you didn't say torture. Semantics, really. Valen's smile widened. I promise to take detailed notes while you scream. Thane grabbed Sage's arm, forcing her onto the table. Leather straps, tight enough to bite. We'll start with blood, Valen said, preparing a needle. Then bone marrow, then tissue samples from your organs. We need to understand what makes you special at a cellular level. The needle pierced Sage's arm. Pain lanced through her. She bit back a scream. That's it, Valen cooed, watching the blood flow into collection vials. Just relax. We have all the time in the world. Sage closed her eyes, reached deep inside herself, finding the golden light. The power that had been dormant her whole life, awakened by the mate bond. Not yet, she told herself. They think the silver cuffs are suppressing me. Let them keep thinking that. Wait for the right moment. She'd learned something in 3 years with John. Sometimes survival meant playing weak until you could strike. Back at the fortress, Colt raged. He'd healed enough to shift, to break the remnants of silver chain, to destroy half his chambers in grief and fury. "We mobilize," he roared at Kira. "Every wolf we have. We find that facility and burn it to the ground." "We don't know where it is," Kira said, pulling up tactical maps. "They blocked tracking, but I'm working on it." "We don't have time." Colt slammed his fist through a stone wall. "They're draining her, killing her. I can feel it through the bond." He could. Every needle, every cut, every moment of her pain echoed in his chest like dying heartbeats. "My lord," a voice from the doorway, Elder Maddox, "perhaps this is for the best." Colt went very still, dangerously still. "What did you say?" "The Unifier brought this on us. Her sacrifice will restore peace. The other alphas get what they want. We avoid war." Colt's hand was around Maddox's throat before the old wolf could blink, lifting him off the ground. "You want this," Colt snarled. "You help them, Kira, check his phone now." Kira moved fast, pulling the phone from Maddox's pocket. Her face went white as she scrolled through messages. "He's been communicating with Marcus for 3 weeks, feeding him information, scheduling the attack." She looked up. "He told them about the safe room location, about Sage." Colt's eyes blazed pure gold. "You sold my mate." "I protected the pack," Maddox gasped. "You were too weak to do it, blinded by a human." "She's my mate." "She made you weak." Colt squeezed, bones cracked. Then chaos. The fortress shook. Explosions inside this time. Planted charges detonating in the foundation. "Second wave," Kira screamed. "We're under attack." Wolves poured through breached walls, Marcus's reinforcements. Fresh, armed, deadly. Colt threw Maddox aside and shifted, tearing through enemies with savage precision. He fought like a demon, protecting his people, his home, driven by rage and desperation. But in the chaos, a dart hit his shoulder. Wolfsbane and sedative, military grade. His vision blurred. His wolf howled, fighting the poison. He had a choice. Let the drug take him and wake up imprisoned, or fight it and risk dying. Colt chose a third option. He let his body go limp. Let them think the drug worked. And when Marcus's wolves dragged him toward a transport vehicle, he memorized every turn, every direction, every landmark he could see through slitted eyes. They were taking him to Sage. Perfect. The last thing he saw before he closed his eyes completely was Kira's knowing look. She understood. She'd cover for him. And when he woke up, he'd paint the walls with their blood. Meanwhile, at the facility, Sage lay strapped to the table, dozens of tubes draining her blood into collection vials. Her skin was pale, her breathing shallow. Dr. Valen studied a sample under a microscope, practically vibrating with excitement. "Remarkable. The cellular structure is entirely unique, if we can isolate the gene sequence." "How long until we can synthesize it?" Marcus asked. "Weeks, maybe months. We need more samples. Tissue, spinal fluid." "She won't last that long at this rate," Darius observed. "Then we take what we need now." Valen prepared another needle, this one much larger, meant for bone marrow extraction. "This will hurt, a lot, but that's what makes it fun." She pressed it against Sage's sternum. And Sage's eyes snapped open, glowing pure gold. "Enough," Sage whispered. The golden light exploded from her body like a supernova. Every restraint shattered. Every machine short-circuited and exploded in showers of sparks. Every person in the room was thrown backward, slamming against walls hard enough to crack bone. Sage sat up, power crackling around her like lightning. The silver cuffs on her wrists melted, dripping molten metal to the floor. She'd been building her power for hours, slowly, carefully, letting them think they'd won. Now they'd learn what a unifier could really do. "You wanted to see what I can do?" Sage's voice echoed with multiple tones, human and something far more ancient. Her hair lifted in an invisible wind, her eyes blazing gold so bright it hurt to look at. "Let me show you." She raised her hand. Every shifter in the building, guards, wolves, alphas, froze, completely immobilized, under her absolute control. "Kneel," Sage commanded. They dropped to their knees, all of them against their will, compelled. Marcus's eyes went wide with terror. Thane tried to fight it, muscles straining, but his body betrayed him. Dr. Valen whimpered. "You wanted to drain me, study me, use me." Sage stepped off the table, her hospital gown billowing around her, power radiating from every pore. "But you forgot something important." She walked toward Marcus, each step deliberate. "I'm not just a unifier. I'm the last unifier. The one my ancestors died protecting. The one who carries 300 years of their rage." She gripped Marcus's face, forcing him to look at her. "And I'm done being a victim." The real battle was about to begin. The facility's alarm shrieked as Sage rose from the table, power radiating from her in waves of golden light. Marcus scrambled to his feet, shifting partially, claws extending. "Tranquilize her, now." 3 wolves rushed her with dart guns. Sage raised her hand. "Stop." The command wasn't loud, but it resonated through every shifter in the building like a biological imperative. The wolves froze mid-step, bodies locked, eyes wide with fear. What are you doing to them?" Dr. Valen gasped from where she'd fallen. "Commanding them." Sage stepped off the table, her bare feet touching cold concrete. "That's what unifiers do. We don't ask, we don't negotiate, we command." She looked at the frozen wolves. "Leave, run, don't stop until you're 100 miles from here." Their bodies unlocked. They ran, crashing through the lab door in their desperation to obey. Marcus snarled. "You think you can command me? I'm an alpha." "You're a dog pretending to be a wolf." Sage's eyes blazed brighter. "Kneel." Marcus's legs buckled. He hit the floor hard, letting his wolf submit completely, overwhelming his human will. "Impossible," he gasped. "No, just inevitable." Sage turned to Darius and Thane, who'd backed against the wall. "Where is Colt?" "You think we'd tell you," Thane spat. Sage tilted her head. "I don't need you to tell me. I can make you tell me." She closed her eyes, reaching out with her power. Not to command them, to follow the bond. The golden thread that connected her to her mate, through walls, through distance, until she found him. A cell, underground, silver chains, barely conscious. Her eyes snapped open. Sublevel 3, East Wing. Darius's face went white. "How did you?" Sage looked at Marcus, still kneeling. "You're going to take me to him, now, and if you try anything, I'll make you regret it. Understood?" Marcus's eyes widened with primal fear. Yes, Unifier." Marcus led her through corridors filled with abandoned equipment and fleeing wolves. Sage's power preceded her like a tidal wave. Every shifter they passed dropped to their knees or ran. They reached sublevel 3, a reinforced steel door. Sage gripped the handle and pulled. Metal screamed. The lock shattered. The entire door ripped free from its hinges, enhanced strength making her impossibly powerful. Inside was a nightmare. The room was set up like an arena, concrete floor stained with old marks, fluorescent lights buzzing overhead. Colt hung from the ceiling in silver chains, shirtless, showing signs of restraint where the metal touched his skin. He was barely conscious, head hanging low. Sage's heart stopped, then restarted with pure rage. "Colt." His eyes opened slightly, gold flickering weakly. "Sage, you're alive." "So are you." She started toward him, but a voice stopped her cold. "Touching reunion." Maddox stepped out from the shadows at the back of the arena. He'd been waiting here, tracking her power signature, knowing she'd come for her mate. A dozen wolves flanked him, all armed, all loyal to him. Behind them, being dragged by 2 more wolves, Kira, semi-conscious, showing signs of struggle. "You've made quite a mess, Unifier. Killed my best wolves, ruined years of planning." He smiled coldly. "But you're weakened, I can see it. Using that much power, it drains you." He was right. Sage's hands were trembling, her vision blurred at the edges. She'd been pushed to her limits. "Let them go," she said. "This is between you and me." "Oh, it's much bigger than that." Maddox pulled out a silver blade, long, ceremonial. This is about the future, about restoring proper order, alphas ruling, kings knowing their place, and unifiers being extinct where they belong. He stepped closer, blade gleaming. I'm going to stop you. Then I'm going to stop your mate. Then I'll end your plans entirely. Sage looked at Colt hanging in chains, at Kira on the floor, at the wolves surrounding her. And she made a choice. She stopped holding back. You're right, Sage said quietly. I am weakened, drained, barely standing. She took a step forward. Golden light began to pulse beneath her skin, brighter than before. But you made one critical mistake, Maddox. Another step. The concrete cracked beneath her feet. You threatened my family. The golden light exploded outward. A shockwave of pure Unifier power that shattered every light, cracked the walls, made the entire building tremble. This was it, her last reserve, everything she had left burning through her like fire. When it cleared, Sage stood at the center, eyes blazing pure gold, hair floating in an invisible wind. Power radiated from her in visible waves. Kneel, she commanded, and this time the word resonated through the entire facility. Through the walls, through the earth, through every shifter within a mile. Every wolf in the room dropped instantly, bellies to the floor, whimpering, completely unable to resist. Even Maddox, with all his strength, with all his alpha authority, collapsed to his knees. The blade clattered from his hand. No, he gasped, fighting it with everything he had. This isn't possible. I am the Unifier, Sage said, her voice echoing with ancient power. I am the bloodline that united all shifter kinds 300 years ago. I am the bridge between beast and humanity, and you will submit. She walked past the cowering wolves to Colt, touched the silver chains. They glowed golden, then released him easily. Colt fell. Sage caught him, impossibly strong despite her exhaustion. I've got you, she whispered against his hair. Colt's arms came around her, weak, trembling, but there. You came back. I promised. Sage pulled back enough to see his face. He was showing signs of struggle, but his eyes were clear, gold meeting gold. I'm not leaving you, not ever. You're not just my mate anymore. Colt's hand cupped her face. You're a queen. Our queen, Kira rasped from the floor, smiling despite her injuries. Sage turned to face Maddox, still on his knees, still trying to resist her command uselessly. You wanted to restore the old order. Let me show you what the old order really looked like. She raised both hands. The 12 wolves began to convulse, not in pain, but in submission. Their wolves were being dominated, forced to acknowledge her absolute authority at a level deeper than alpha commands. From this moment forward, your wolves answer to me first. Your alpha commands second. Sage's voice was merciless. You wanted to rule. Now you'll spend every day knowing your own beast serves someone else. Maddox screamed, rage and humiliation and utter defeat. Sage turned to the other wolves. You have two choices. Swear loyalty to me and my mate alive, or refuse and your wolves will be locked out of leadership forever. She paused. Choose now. I swear, the first wolf gasped. Then another. Then all of them, a chorus of broken alphas pledging loyalty to save themselves. All except Maddox. Never, he snarled. Even on his knees, even beaten. I'll die before I serve a... Colt moved. Even weakened, even showing signs of struggle, he was still the alpha king. He pulled himself to his feet, crossed the room, and gripped Maddox firmly by the shoulders. You tortured my mate, Colt said, his voice deadly calm. His eyes blazed pure gold. You planned to harm her, to harm our daughter. The room went silent. The other wolves watched, terrified. You forgot one thing, Maddox. Colt's claws glowed with energy but did not pierce. I'm not just her mate. I'm still the Alpha King, and threatening my family is treason. The council will. Colt pointed a hand at him. Maddox froze, completely immobilized by the power surge. The council answers to me. Maddox collapsed in place, completely restrained. Colt dropped him and turned back to Sage. It's done. The other wolves didn't move, didn't breathe, terror and respect warring on their faces. Sage looked at them, these broken alphas who thought they could use her, control her, harm her. "Spread the word," she said, her voice carrying absolute authority. "The Unifier has returned, and anyone who threatens my family answers to both of us." They scrambled to their feet and ran, desperate to escape. Sage's power finally flickered. She swayed. Colt caught her immediately. "I've got you." "We need to get Kira, get home." Sage's vision was graying. "Lily, is she safe?" "She's at the fortress with guards, protected." Colt lifted Sage into his arms despite his own injuries. To Kira, "Can you walk?" "Barely." Kira pushed herself up. "But I'll crawl if I have to. Let's go home." As they limped toward the exit, Sage felt the power settling into her bones, changing her, completing her transformation. She wasn't human anymore. She was something more. And the supernatural world would never be the same. Sage woke to sunlight streaming through floor-to-ceiling windows and the warm weight of bodies on either side of her. Lily was curled against her left side, thumb in her mouth, a habit she'd outgrown years ago but had returned to after the trauma. Her little chest rose and fell in peaceful sleep. On her right, Colt's arm was draped protectively across both of them. His burns were healing, supernatural regeneration working overtime. He was awake, she realized, watching her with those amber eyes. "How long?" Sage whispered, careful not to wake Lily. 3 days. Your body was adapting to the full awakening. Dr. Brennan said it was like a metamorphosis." Colt's fingers traced gentle patterns on her shoulder. "You scared me." "I scared myself." Sage remembered it all, the power surging through her, the feeling of commanding dozens of wolves simultaneously. "Is it always going to be like that?" "The power, yes, but you'll learn to control it, channel it." He pressed a kiss to her temple. "Brennan says you're fully supernatural now, your lifespan extended to match mine, your body stronger, faster, harder to kill." "Immortal." "Not quite, but we'll have centuries together, if you still want that." Sage turned to face him fully, careful not to disturb Lily. "After everything we've been through, after you literally went to war for me, yes, Colt, I want that." His smile was brilliant, rare and beautiful. "Then I have something to show you." A knock at the door. Kira entered, fully healed, carrying a tablet. "My lord, my lady, the reports are in." She sat at the edge of the massive bed. "The facility has been demolished. Marcus, Darius, and Thane have been stripped of their alpha titles. Their territories are requesting new leadership." "And the wolves who swore loyalty?" Colt asked. "Holding, the Unifier bond seems to be permanent. Their wolves won't disobey her even if they wanted to." Kira looked at Sage with something like awe. "You've created a new order without even trying." "What about the council?" Sage asked. "Dissolved. The remaining elders resigned. They're requesting an audience with both of you to discuss new governance." Kira paused. "The supernatural world is in chaos, but it's looking to you for leadership, both of you." Sage sat up slowly, processing. "They want me to help rule." "They want you to rule, period. You're the most powerful supernatural being in North America, possibly the world." Kira smiled. "The question is, are you ready?" The next few weeks were a whirlwind of preparation, negotiations, and learning to control her new abilities. And then, 1 month after her awakening, the day arrived. The fortress courtyard had been transformed. Banners in silver and gold hung from the ancient stone walls. Hundreds of shifters filled the space. Wolves, bears, mountain lions, even a delegation of lynxes from the far north. Species that had been enemies for generations stood side by side. All because of her. Sage stood in the preparation chamber, staring at herself in the mirror. The gown was exquisite, silver silk that flowed like water, embroidered with golden thread in patterns that represented unity. Her dark hair was crowned with a circlet of white gold and diamonds. She looked like a queen. She felt terrified. "Mama, you look like a princess." Lily twirled in her own dress, a miniature version of Sage's, complete with a flower crown. She was the flower girl, a role she'd taken very seriously. "You look beautiful, baby." Sage knelt, adjusting Lily's crown. "Are you ready?" "Are you ready?" Lily asked with 5-year-old wisdom. "No, but I'm doing it anyway." The door opened. Colt entered and Sage's breath caught. He wore ceremonial armor, black leather and silver mail that made him look like a warrior king from ancient times. His silver-white hair was pulled back, emphasizing the sharp angles of his face. But it was his eyes, warm amber filled with love, that made her heart race. "You're stunning," he said simply. "So are you." He offered his hand, ready to change the world. Sage took it, "With you, always." The ceremony was witnessed by hundreds. Kira officiated, standing on the raised platform where alphas had once challenged each other for dominance. Now it was a symbol of unity. "We gather to witness 2 sacred bonds," Kira's voice rang out. "The mating bond between Alpha King Colt Thorne and Sage Miller, and the coronation of Sage as the Unifier Queen of all supernatural territories." Colt turned to Sage, taking both her hands. "I, Colt Thorne, Alpha King of the North American Pax, claim you as my mate, my partner, my equal. I vow to protect you, honor you, and love you for all the centuries we're given." His eyes flashed gold. He leaned in, pressing his lips to her neck, right over her pulse. His canines extended and he bit down. The claiming mark. Sage gasped as the mate bond snapped fully into place, golden light exploding between them, visible to everyone watching. It felt like coming home and catching fire simultaneously. When he pulled back, blood on his lips, there was a mark on her skin, an intricate pattern that looked like intertwined wolves rendered in silver and gold, glowing faintly with residual magic. He smiled. "Your turn." Sage's own canines had grown, a gift of her transformation. She pulled him close, found the matching spot on his neck, and bit down. The bond completed with a pulse of power that shook the ground. When she released him, a glowing mark remained on his skin, not just a bite, but a Unifier seal in the same silver and gold. Proof of their connection. The crowd roared approval. Then came the coronation. Dr. Brennan brought forward a crown, ancient, recovered from Unifier ruins. White gold and sapphires, humming with residual magic. Colt took it, holding it high. "I crown you Sage Thorne, Unifier Queen, bridge between all shifter kinds and my eternal mate." He placed it on her head. The power that had been simmering inside Sage since her awakening surged outward, a wave of golden light that washed over every shifter present. Not commanding, not controlling, just connecting. Every person in that courtyard felt it, the bond to their queen, the promise of protection, the unity of all shifter kinds under one banner. When the light faded, Sage stood transformed. Not just a victim who'd survived, not just a mother who'd protected her child, but a queen who would reshape the world. "I accept," she said, her voice carrying across the courtyard, "and I make 2 decrees." The crowd went silent. "First, I establish sanctuary for any human or supernatural being suffering abuse. We will protect those who cannot protect themselves." Cheers erupted, especially from the women in the crowd, from smaller shifter species who'd had no voice before. Sage waited for silence, then continued. "This program will be called the Lily Haven Initiative." Lily beamed from where she sat in the front row, held safely by Kira. The crowd roared even louder, approval, celebration, hope. "Second, a new council will be formed, representatives from all shifter species, not just wolves. We rule together or not at all." The non-wolf shifters erupted in celebration. Bears, cats, lynxes, every species that had been excluded from power for centuries finally had a voice. Colt pulled her close, kissing her in front of everyone, claiming her publicly, proudly. "Long live the king," someone shouted. "Long live the queen," the response was deafening. That evening, after the celebration, the 3 of them stood on the private balcony, Colt, Sage, and Lily. The sun set over the United Territories, painting the sky in gold and crimson. Below, wolves and bears played together in the courtyard. The children laughed. Peace settled over the fortress like a blanket. "Mama," Lily tugged on Sage's gown, "did we find our forever home?" Sage knelt, pulling her daughter close. "Yes, baby, we did. And we're safe, really safe. The bad man won't ever come back." "Never," Colt promised, joining them. "I won't let anyone hurt you, either of you." Lily was quiet for a moment, thinking. Then, "Mama, can I ask Mr. Wolf something?" "Of course, baby." Lily turned to Colt, suddenly shy. "You're Mama's mate now. You're going to stay forever, right?" "Forever and always," Colt said seriously. "Then, can I call you Papa, since you're my forever family now?" Colt's eyes went suspiciously bright. He knelt to her level. "I would be honored, little one." "Okay, Papa Wolf," Lily giggled, then yawned. "I'm sleepy. Can Kira tuck me in?" "I'll get her," Sage said, but Lily was already running inside, calling for Kira. Alone on the balcony, Colt pulled a small box from his pocket. "I have something for you." Inside was a phone, sleek, new, top of the line. Sage laughed. "A phone. Look at the contacts." She opened it, one entry. "Your mate, your king, your home." And in the message thread, her daughter's original text. "He locked and hit Mum again. Please come." Below it, Colt's response. "I'm on my way." And a new message just sent. "I'm always here, forever." Sage's throat tightened. Her eyes burned with tears. She stared at those messages, the desperate plea from a terrified child, the immediate response from a man who didn't even know them yet, who risked everything on instinct and fate. "You saved this," she whispered, "all this time. It's the most important message I've ever received. The moment my life began." He pulled her into his arms. "A wrong number that was actually fate calling." "And you answered." Sage looked up at him, this impossibly powerful, deadly, gentle king who'd changed her entire world with 3 words. "Always." He kissed her deeply. "I love you, Sage Thorne, my mate, my queen, my everything." "I love you too, both sides of you, the king and the wolf." They stood together as stars emerged above the fortress. Below, their people celebrated. Their daughter slept safely. Their enemies were defeated. Sage looked at the phone one more time, at those 3 simple words that had changed everything. "I'm on my way." Not just a promise of rescue, but a promise of forever. "They say wrong numbers are mistakes," Sage whispered, leaning against Colt's chest. "But sometimes," Colt murmured against her hair, "a mistake is destiny calling. And all you have to say is." They said it together, looking out over their kingdom. "I'm on my way." Power isn't just about strength. True power is protecting those who cannot protect themselves. Destiny isn't just about finding your mate. It's about standing up for what's right, even when the world resists. Subscribe now, because what you just saw is only the beginning. The choices your heroes make, the consequences they face, will challenge what you think you know about courage, loyalty, and justice. Don't walk away. You've already seen too much.